90-Day Fiancé star David Toborowski has his reasons for moving to Thailand with Annie Suwon, who is 8 months pregnant with their baby girl. David used to work alongside his friend Chris Thieneman in Thailand. Christ had a business named Fantasy Thailand, where people from all over the world could make their fantasies come true in the country. David gave little information about his past in 90-Day Fiancé Season 5. He said that he had been through a divorce after being married for 21 years. Then he lost his house, his cars, and his job. David's weight went up to 350 pounds, and to make matters worse, David had a stroke. Thailand was where David went when he hit rock bottom. "I went to Thailand to rebuild myself," David confessed. He wasn't even looking for love when Annie came into his life. However, almost a decade later, David is back in Thailand to start all over again. This time David is building himself a new family with Annie. David looks like he's more at home in Thailand with Annie than when he is in the US. Something about the fact that he is on vacation while continuing to work remotely could be the reason behind his happiness, in addition to his mini-me that's soon to arrive in his life. David is sporting his widest smile in his pictures. He's even dyed his hair blonde to look like the trendy and young Thai locals, since David, too, is young at heart. David's even taking his health more seriously than ever before. He's been doing more than 40,000 steps in a day as a part of his exercise routine. David has made it a habit to walk everywhere. He enjoys the views of the Gulf of Thailand during his walks. David seems to be fitter than ever, and doesn't seem to be stressed about their baby's arrival at all. It's the kind of energy Annie needs during this phase, when she has to deal with anxiety and health issues, as she is about to have her first ever baby. David's happiness is infectious and keeps Annie happy. When David first announced that he was leaving for Thailand, viewers had plenty of questions. Firstly, David was asked whether his baby would still have American citizenship, and David confirmed she would be an American Thai citizen, even if she was born outside the U.S. However, the more pressing issue at hand was whether David was facing any financial difficulties about having moved to Thailand so abruptly. David and Annie have been living in their condo in Pattaya. They have several houses in Annie's home country, which helps them save on hotel costs while traveling. When the cost of living between Scottsdale, Arizona, and Pattaya is compared, there is a sizable difference between the two. Rent prices in Pattaya are 73.2% lower than in Scottsdale. Restaurant prices in Pattaya are 64.1% lower than in Scottsdale, and grocery prices in Pattaya are 34.6% lower than in Scottsdale, according to Numbeo. For instance, a McDonald's McMeal would cost $7.99 in Pattaya, when compared to the same meal bought in the U.S. for $11.50, while a one-bedroom apartment, which could be rented at $2,016.67 in Scottsdale's city center, could be rented for $522.96 in Pattaya. Annie and David started exploring IVF options in November 2023. They asked fans for suggestions about IVF centers. They finally announced their pregnancy in July 2024. It was surprising news for fans who spent years watching Annie and David say they didn't want children. David was older and had undergone a vasectomy, which meant he was done with kids. However, Annie wasn't, and she seemed to have decided to have her first child in Thailand. David and Annie never revealed the real reason behind them moving there, but it's important to understand all of Annie's family is there. Annie could be anxious about having her baby and taking care of it by herself with no one to help. Annie also dealt with the loss of her grandmother right before she flew to Thailand. Annie's grandma had raised her, and her death affected Annie deeply. The smile that Annie has on her face when she is surrounded by her loved ones is precious. She can't help but glow with happiness. David wants his wife to have a safe and happy delivery, and taking Annie to her homeland to welcome their bundle of joy was the least he could have done. David and Annie are expecting the baby to arrive in mid-March. The date is set to March 14, 2025. Annie and David will certainly spend more time in Thailand after the baby arrives, so it's unlikely that they will be returning to the US anytime soon. David might be the one to return before Annie if he wishes to, but for now, their move, although not permanent, looks like one that will extend indefinitely. The couple wants to welcome the baby to Thailand and seems to have made the arrangements beforehand. With all pros and cons of being in Thailand considered, David and Annie have made an informed decision. When Annie went to the US, she never let go of her Thai heritage. Annie wants her baby to experience the culture and have access to both her parents' cultures from an early age. It's certain that even after they return to the US, David and Annie will be spending their summers in Thailand, so their daughter develops strong ties with Annie's family, as well as David's American relatives. The 90-day fiancé couple knows what they're doing.